Oh,
Why would you ever go off
you
and
gotta
think
leave.
crazy like
My
you're
wife
alive?
has to leave the upstairs when we're on the podcast.
Why?
I don't know why.
Oh, I like how we just saw her scream "why" from the background too.
Oh, you heard that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. This microphone you sent me a few years back, it's a pretty good microphone.
It works okay.
Yeah, I think the whole setup is kind of pricey, you know. I was surprised, Nate. I mean, that was back in the day you were scraping.
I had
Not that
no
you're
idea
not
what I was
scraping
doing.
now, but I mean, you know, the bottom of the barrel, you were living in it.
I didn't know I was that poor.
Well, didn't have a job, unemployed. I mean, of course, luckily for you, Alicia has a nice job. So
She does? This is news to me. Alicia listens to the podcast, so she'll probably chuckle at that.
Oh, she does? Oh, good.
Yeah, she does.
I think
yeah. When she doesn't listen, I guilt trip her. I'm like, oh, okay, so you don't listen to the podcast, huh? All right, that's fine. And then I guilt trip her so much that she eventually just starts listening. Probably from her perspective.
Guilt works. It works for everything, really. You put enough guilt on somebody, they're going to change.
For her perspective, I mean, it's probably worth listening just so you don't have to. It's either listen to me talk about nothing or it's, listen to me whine about her not listening to nothing.
Okay. Well, my question before we went live was to Sam anyhow, because I followed a little bit of the tournament he was just in.
And, well, for anybody listening on podcast form.
There's some pretty good players. I mean, Fedor, what happened to him? He didn't win. So somebody else.
Yeah, well, for people listening in audio form, we got Sam Henderson here, who played in the Bob Stocks Memorial last week, our newest member of the Cue It Up podcast. So, Sam, you were out there. Tell us how it went.
It started off. There were 60 players at the Memorial tournament. It was by the way, people, it was in Sterling, Virginia. By the way, didn't know if we mentioned that yet, but yeah, there were 60 players in the tournament. It started off. I first round had to play him.
Yeah.
I was a little like nervous playing that match because the first match of the tournament. It's always nervous playing somebody that's around your age. I think just because you usually want to beat them, but
well, that's usually 30 years from now. That's who you're going to have to beat.
Yeah.
But you got by that match.
Yeah, you did. No,
I did get by that match. I
think, right?
Yeah, I won 7-3, and then I had to play Tommy Talkoff or something like that. I think his last name. And I was up 4-1. I broke and ran 3 of the first 5 racks, and and then I missed a ball, and I missed another ball. Started coming back. It's 5-3 now, and then all of a sudden it was 5-5. Then I was up 6-5. I was running out, made the 7 ball. I was completely out to run out for the win, and the cue ball goes off the 8 ball and scratches, and and then it's 6-6. He breaks and runs.
So your position on the 8 ball was a little bit off the mark, or did you want to run into it?
I was trying to just barely miss it. It's because I had a little window that I had to hit between the 8 ball and the side pocket, and then it was about that big of a window, and I barely skimmed the 8 ball, and it goes right into the side.
Oh yeah.
If I would have hit the 8 ball just a little bit more full, I'd have been fine. And
that's a good reason why to take up 3 cushion billiards, because there isn't any
scratch in the sky.
There's no pockets in the tables, so you never scratch.
Yeah,
and those kinds of scratches in pocket pool. I mean, really, even if you're playing like short rail, long rail, short rail position on a ball, and you got to hit the long rail, and guess what? It hits that one of the corners of the side right on the edges, and it goes, of course, someplace crazy. And I think to myself, why is that pocket there? I hit a perfect shot, except that pocket got in the way. No, that's too bad. And then, of course, the snowball, when you miss that first shot, that's when the snowball changed.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, you're going uphill, pushing the snowball now. And snowball seems to be on your opponent's side, rolling down the hill. And pool is weird this way. I've never quite understood it. I've seen it in other sports also, where that can change. They call it momentum. They call it the momentum of the positivity of the game changes and goes from one player to the next. I've experienced it, so I know it's real. It's not like, well, while you're experiencing it, do you ever think, guess what just happened?
Yeah.
Oh, the momentum just changed, and now it's with me. Oh boy, yeah, that happens. All of a sudden, the kind of, when you make a mistake, it doesn't end up so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than you just totally sell out.
Yeah. Yeah, the momentum in that match definitely changed when I was up 2-0, and then I think he tried to play a safety and left me a shot, and I had to reach really far, and instead of getting the bridge out, I just tried to use my extension, and I still couldn't reach it, but I don't like using the bridge, so I tried to reach extra long, and I missed it.
Yeah.
And he had a dead out, so he ran that rack out, and I believe that's where the momentum changed.
What was his Fargo number in comparison to your number?
He was a 730, so he's 30 points higher than me. I'm a 730.
Okay, so
yeah, he was 730.
That's a third of 100.
Yeah.
You know, if you think of the different separations in the Fargo, from 500 to 600, you're 530. I mean, that's a third. So this fella, had a third more, but my personal feeling about the Fargo, when you're over like anywhere over 660, 650, 670, anywhere over that, the only reason you're not higher is because you're doing something else in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're not spending the time you need to get to that other number, but you certainly have the potential, and that player can play like that. Who was he made the final 30, was number 530 something? 535? Wasn't there a player that made that final 32?
I'm not sure. I know there was a 680 Fargo that got into the final 16, and then he actually got into the final 8. He actually made it to the Thomas was playing super strong.
Yeah.
He got to play that Tommy Talkoff the next round and was down 1-0 in that match, race to 7, down 1-0, won the second game, and then broke and ran 6 in a row.
Oh.
Well, he beat Jeremy Solsi, Christina Tkach, and Tommy Talkoff.
He was playing really strong.
A combined 21-10. That's pretty strong.
And then he beat Tommy Talkoff again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know who I'm not even sure who it is.
Nate, do you remember when I played him at the U.S. Open?
Oh, is that who you played?
That's Thomas.
Oh, okay, cool. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, he was pretty impressive. He played good.
Yeah, he played pretty strong.
So
that's a 730. If you look at this Fargo stuff, playing like an 830. That's just and when you're 730, I think that is possible for sure.
Yeah, I mean, so that knocked you over to the B side. You won a couple more matches, and then lost to Hunter Lombardo to get into the final 16.
Hunter.
Yeah.
So, I guess you beat Steve Fleming 7-1, Brandon Sluzalis 7-4, and then lost to Hunter Lombardo 7-5. What's your takeaways from the event? What'd you think of the event?
I thought it was a great event. I really did. I thought it was ran pretty well. I know there was 15. I'm not sure what happened with that. Was at the hotel sleeping? But
we're gonna talk about that. But go over what you heard, or kind of what you're referring to, because we're gonna talk about that, I guess. Because
about the final 16.
Yeah.
Oh, so apparently the night, like right after my match got over, they drew up the bracket and people saw who they were playing, and the players woke up and they were playing different for the final 16. I'm not sure, but I know a lot of players were pretty upset about the redraw because some players believe that they were just redrawing the tournament to favor higher players. I don't think that's the case, but I'm not sure.
Did they have a reason?
Well, according to Isaac Wooten, who is the owner of Digital Pool, that was a glitch basically in his software for the tournaments, how they were ran. Apparently, the tournament, if it's not seeded or something like that, it goes into the final bracket, and then it's supposed to do the redraw before it actually goes public or something like that. He made a big long post about it. But essentially, what it looks like is they did the drawing and then redrew it again later on. So, I mean, that has absolutely happened in this game before. I mean, we all know. I can name a certain tournament director in Wisconsin that has been accused of that a very large amount of times, and I've seen it where it happened pretty suspiciously as well from this venue. So it happens all the time, and unfortunately, it's a terrible look every time it happens. And I don't know.
Well, the conspiracy theorists in us takes over and we want to think the worst.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of times, that's just kind of a natural human flaw, I think.
Yeah.
Really.
In this case, I'm going to go with what Isaac Wooten said, having created the software, and of course, if it is a bug that he found out about or already knew about, I trust that it'll get squared away and it's not going to be an issue going forward. Isaac's usually really, really good about cleaning these things up as soon as he can. So I would assume that I would hope that this is the last time we're going to hear about something like this. Although,
I don't think it will be. I think it'll happen again.
Well,
at
least for innocent reasons, this hopefully will be the last time we hear about it.
I see. Yeah, and look at the motives for things. Sometimes there just isn't any; it just happens. Yeah, but that was a good. So you think overall, Sam, this was a positive experience for you in your pool playing career?
Besides the drive,
yes.
This last event, okay. He froze up.
One of the main reasons it was. Can you guys still hear me?
Yell in the other room. Yell in the other room and tell Nate to stop watching Netflix.
He's at work.
Your internet sucks.
Hold on.
It's all good. Go ahead.
Are we good now?
Sure.
Sounds fine.
So good.
We're good. Okay, we're good. What was I talking about?
I don't know.
Your overall experience from playing this last event, you come out feeling fairly positive about it, and you feel it has. You feel it's helped your progression in the game.
Wow, we've had a tough go of it here the last few weeks,
and it's just. I think we're lost again.
We can hear you now, at least.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. Pixel by pixel.
Sam, go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, it was a great experience because I don't like playing in front of people. There's a lot of people watching. I think for the most part, I got over that in this tournament because I played okay. I definitely made some uncharacteristic mistakes that I want to work on and just get better from that.
Yeah. To help with that too, you can think for a second that you are Keith McCready, and because here was a pool player actually liked when a lot of people were watching him.
Yeah,
and he kind of dug down into that personality trait and used that. And you don't need to hang with it, of course, while you're playing because you want to focus. But I mean, it's something to go to ease that burden of, look at there's all kinds of folks watching. You grab a little bit of really who you are, and that's a pool player. And you go, hey, no, I'm a pool player here. I'm just going to play. And then all of a sudden you forget about all that other stuff that's going on.
It's something that you got to learn how to do.
Because it's a reality. I mean, and the bigger stage you play on, if your aspirations are to be on the Moscone Cup, take a look. It's not just a few people in the room looking at you. It's the million out there watching you live.
Yeah. It's definitely that's one of the things. What?
Go ahead.
That's one of my main goals. And that's one of the things I'm going to have to work on is getting used to people watching me play.
Yeah, I think you're going to grow into an understanding of that, and it ain't going to take you too many more tournaments like this last one to get there. You're not going to have to wait a couple years to get there. You're going to get there quicker than that, and your talent's going to get you there. That's what's going to happen.
I think that there's some natural progressions that have to happen as a player.
Oh yeah.
Playing the finals in front of people. I think that's a lot harder than we give it credit for. However, I think that's kind of been helped a little bit with all of these 550 and under tournaments, 400 and under tournaments. There are a lot of events that you're another player in the field and you're live to win just about any event that you play in when you're playing in those events. All it takes is, one hot day. But learning how to play in the finals where, everybody from the tournament is watching you, learning to play on stream, I think is another thing that, you kind of got to learn how to do. Of course, there's always learning how to play in the morning or learning how to play at night. And then I think the next and the last kind of progressions are learning how to play in front of, an arena with a ton of people around, and then learning how to play on a stream that, thousands of people are watching, like a Matchroom sponsored event, So you still haven't played on any of those types of streams, right, Sam? Oh, this is really bad.
Yeah, he just froze up again here.
Yeah. This is honestly, this is like almost silly the last few weeks with the problems that we've had from people showing up and then the streams. It's not good. Clearly, we're gonna have to figure out something on our end because this isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
Sam, you back? Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that, but we can't hear you.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Let's give it a second. Well, this is a perfect time for an ad break for our sponsors that continue to stick with us, even though we absolutely suck at everything that we do, huh, Rob?
Is Sam on his phone? If I was on my toes with inventory, I didn't notice I took the last one.
And we're back. So that was fun. We finally have Sam back, I believe. Rob decided that he wanted to take that as an opportunity to just leave. So I don't even know where Rob is at this point. But I do want to give a congratulations to Jacoby Custom Cues because they have now, for 15 years in a row, been either the Q of the year, and at the end there you saw the Q of the year entry. This last year they won it again. So this 15 straight years now, they have either won or taken second place in the Q of the year. So I guess we have Rob back now. He decided he just wanted to leave. But he's back.
Yay. So what was going on?
Yeah. So congratulations to Jacoby Custom Cues. They won the Q of the year again with their new Q, which I guess next week we will have an ad for that probably. So that'll be fun. And Sam's internet sucks again. Apparently he needs to get those hamsters running a little bit faster so we can get some internet going on around here. But I guess we've been talking about this Bob Stocks Memorial Tournament for a while now, and we still haven't said who the winner was. So congratulations to BJ Usheri gets first place over Lucas Fracassa Werner, which is pretty incredible. That's
yes.
I think you could.
I think he is one of Raymond's friends, I believe.
Lucas Fracassa Werner?
No,
he's from
BJ.
He's from like South Carolina, either South Carolina or North Carolina, one of the two.
Yeah.
Sam, are you back? Can you hear us now?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Apparently, I'm not letting you talk, even though you haven't been able to talk for like the last hour. So clearly, that guy has no idea what he's talking about when he's saying that. But that's good. So
your voice is a little behind your actions. It's not in.
Yeah.
Not
is
kind
it?
of
Is
like
it?
the voice actions aren't in sync.
Yeah, it's just a connection issue. It'll be okay until it's not, I guess. Did you end up getting to watch any of BJ or Lucas while you were there, Sam?
Like big up 10-10, and then he took a 12-10 lead.
Yeah, this isn't going to work. Sam, you're going to have to leave and join back in. Try it one more time, and if not, I guess we're just going to have to probably kick you out for the show. We're just not able to hear you, unfortunately.
Vader lost a couple. Sure. First and second place finishers. That's the way pool tournaments aren't they? You get the same people beating the ones who win eventually beat the ones who should have won and didn't.
Yeah, certainly
or could have won and didn't.
Yeah, I mean it's BJ Usheri. I mean he won some huge matches. Of course he's one of those players that kind of gets a lot of controversy attached to his name because I think he still actually does quite a few amateur things. Usually
over the last 2 years, he's been in the last top 10 of a lot of tournaments he's played in.
Well, he plays incredibly strong, but he's mostly a bar table player, and I think he still works full time too. But he travels by car to all these events.
Okay,
so
sure.
If at the end of the day, it's like he plays a lot of smaller bar table events, but he still can play at a really high level. But he's not. But he plays a lot of amateur. Like to my understanding, he was actually playing some APA events in the last couple of years, like at the national Vegas tournament. And if I remember right, I think he's caused some controversy for playing in those style of events.
Yeah.
So
you don't even have to call a shot in those, right?
I don't know. I don't play any
slot
APA.
counts. You just make a ball anywhere it counts.
I don't know. I don't know the APA rules, to be honest with you. But I guess Fedor Gorsk gets third, fourth with Shane Wolford. So good for Shane Wolford. I remember last year we were talking about
how did Tyler do? He got in the final 32, right? Tyler, or was he?
Tyler got fifth through eighth. I know last year.
Okay.
I know last year we were kind of talking about Shane Wolford and whether or not he was going to be ready for the Mosconi Cup. And at the time, I believe he only had maybe like a 720 Fargo or something like that. And that's kind of why we were saying he wasn't quite ready for it. Well, in a year, he's gone from 720 all the way up to 760, and now he's starting to get into top 3, top 4 at events. And
yeah,
I'm telling you what, maybe he's still not ready this year. Maybe he is. I'm not totally sure. It's got a long time before we get to the Mosconi Cup, but
yeah.
he's definitely getting himself into that category of being able to contend with some of the best players out there.
Yeah,
I mean,
working his way up.
Yeah, he ends up losing obviously to BJ Usheri, but he lost to him Hill, 11-10. He
Yeah.
beats Tyler Steyer, and he beats. Actually, I'm not even sure who that is.
Well, I
Oral
think
Rosmanchai.
I think that's why in most
Oral
all sports
Rosmanchai.
you see these crescendos of people's careers as they're getting better and better, and then they'll just like outperform everybody around them for a couple of years, and if they're lucky, maybe a dozen years, but most of them 1 or 2 or 3 years, and then for pool, what happens, I think, is your life gets in the way of the game, and that happens to almost everyone in pool, and that's kind of good for pool because then we get new blood in the game.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm looking at Shane Wolford's path to that third place finish now, and he beat a lot of perennial kind of bubble type of Mosconi type players. He beat Donnie Mills 7-4. He beat Sean Wilkie 7-5, and those are two players that they'll usually get a little pattering, here and there about can these players potentially get to the point where maybe they want
beat
to
anybody at any time.
Make a push towards the Mosconi Cup USA team. And then once he got to the final 16, he beat Tyler Steyer 9-7. So you want to talk about three players that are perennial Mosconi Cup style players.
They're all upper 700 Fargos and
Yep. So
there's a bunch of players in that category right now in the USA that I think fall into that area of play, the 750 to 800s right in there. There's a bunch, and some of them are going to have a breakthrough, I think, pretty darn quick.
Well, I think the good part about it is not only are there a bunch of them, there's a lot of them that are actually playing and touring full time. Because we've always had a bunch, right? I mean, even going back 10 years ago when we were getting our faces kicked in the Mosconi Cup, we had a ton of them that were in there. They just weren't always active players. Give or take at that point in time, Johnny may or may not have been playing full time. Earl may or may not have been playing full time. Rodney.
How did Oscar end up in this one?
Oscar made the finals and then lost in the first round of the final 16 to Donnie Mills 9-3.
Okay.
And even, there's another player about 10 years ago where Oscar may or may not have been playing full time. Dennis Hatch may or may not have been playing full time.
This is a winter break format. So you're going to see some great players, all of them, winning by 6 or 7 games. They're just he probably ran 5 or so in that match. Donnie did.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I didn't watch any of that one, but I saw his post on Facebook, and he seemed like he was pretty happy with how he had played. And he kind of made a post that said, next I got to play the Russian robot, I think it's what he called it.
Oh.
Which he had to play Fedor next. So.
Yeah, right, of course, yes. But I think all have nicknames along the way.
I think the one thing that I really, really would like to highlight and talk about a little bit more, because I don't think that he gets a lot of shine, and I think it's just because he's really young still. He's really young, but he's really playing at a high level. Is Lucas Fracassa-Werner? I think I'm going to get this wrong, but I think he's from Connecticut. Maybe 21, 22 years old, and all he does is play pool, and he's in the box all the time. He's playing against. I saw a match that he was playing a big match at Super Billiards Expo at 2 a.m, and he's kind of got that I guess that typical American. I don't want to say this in a bad way, but the typical American gambler. He's kind of like a Chip Compton or a Joey Gray type of player where they're constantly in action. They're constantly that's kind of where they build themselves from. But he seems to be in a ton of tournaments, and he's playing them all the time. I mean, he just won the tournament last weekend. I believe he won the Pro-Am at the Super Billiards Expo. He beat Greg Hogan in the finals there. And now he's getting second place in this with a world quality field. He is absolutely just killing it. And of course, we have the Maldives. Yes, you're right. There's a Maldives event, but that's still going on. So,
the snooker world snooker.
Well, we'll give that a chat too. There's a massive event going on in the Philippines right now. Basically, the Philippine Open. That's another massive event. But we'll end up talking about those probably next week. The big event in Spain also happened. Got to give a shout out to Wojtek Szewczak for snapping off that big event in Spain.
Wojtek, congratulations!
Yeah, won a big event over there. I don't know. You kind of talked about there. You want to chat a little bit about that orange Cheeto dust that kind of took the pool world by storm for a second. What'd you think of that?
Oh, are you talking to Sam? He's not here.
Sam's not here, so
no.
I'm talking to you.
Oh, explain it to me, so I know what you're talking about.
Did you not see it?
I did not see it.
Oh, there was the big snooker event. A couple of protesters ran in and jumped on one of them jumped up on the table, pulled out an orange baggie of like really fine dust and just threw it up and covered the entire table. And a woman tried to jump on the other table, and she was actually pulled off by the snooker referee and stopped from doing the same thing. They have like a kind of a 2-table system where they have like a big divider in between them.
Oh.
And yeah, they got up and they had to stop play for the night. They basically stopped play and then picked it up the next morning. The ref pulled off one of the girls before she got up there and did it. The guy was not stopped, and he was up there for he threw the chalk up there and maybe sat there for 10 seconds before they pulled him off, something like that. It wasn't crazy, but how did you not see this? Are you not on Facebook at all?
In the last few days, no, I haven't been.
This was the last week, I think.
No, and slap me, but I should watch more snooker than I do.
Well, yeah, probably. It's I don't know. Here, we'll do it this way.
One of the players I read it someplace had 147. I know.
Well, that happens a decent amount, I think.
Yeah, occasionally.
Here's the video of thank you, Florian Kohler, for posting this. This was the girl that was caught. She was going to jump up on there with her orange dust, and she was pulled off. So this is the one table. We'll get the other one. Here's it actually made it onto Sky Sports apparently. So we'll watch it here. Maybe. Oh yeah, here it is. Well, they're not going to show the entire thing apparently, but here's the aftermath of it. He's wearing a shirt that says "Just Stop Oil." So this is the outcome of it. How did you not see this, Rob? Don't you do any research?
No, I do very little.
That's part of your.
This show has always been kind of off the cuff. We don't have
a little bit. Yeah.
We don't have an agenda in front of us for this podcast. We never have.
Well, you don't. You don't, because I make sure that you don't have to, because I do it.
Oh, yeah.
We have one. You just don't have one.
Right.
So no, I guess so.
I fly blind every week.
Pretty much. So I mean, I guess that's the question, right? Snooker asks, is what does oil have to do with snooker? I mean, I think that's pretty much the generic response. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's worst case scenario is they stop play the next day. It doesn't seem like it happened at a super pivotal time in the matches. I don't think it affected match play. I guess I don't even, maybe somebody out there would actually know this. I know the one match that it happened on, the orange dust happened on, they stopped play. I'm pretty sure they stopped play on both tables until the next day, but I might be wrong on that part of it. They may have continued playing. Allen may have finished out his match. I mean, obviously, if it's making it onto like a national media stuff like that, I think it's kind of a good look for snooker, and Q Sports in general. I mean, worst case scenario is it gets a nice little day in its shade, and the protesters get whatever they were hoping for, and that's whatever. But I mean, at the end of the day, any light that's being shed on snooker, I think it's got to be a good thing, right? I don't think that this certainly isn't a negative. I wouldn't think.
I saw a pool table in part of an ad for a vitamin supplement on national TV last night. And, those are kind of things now I'm starting to see. It was just a young lady making a ball in the corner. And because she takes the right vitamins, she can do that was the point of but the fact that we're seeing that more and more and more now, we're seeing ads with pool tables in them and people enjoying the game, sheds a much more positive light on the game in general.
Did Sam finally figure it out?
He's in a different room, it looks like.
I am in a different room.
Oh, yeah. Now your voice it's steady now.
Well, it seems to be better. Did you go buy a couple more hamsters to get that internet working better?
No, I just moved next to the whatever it's called, this router or whatever.
Oh, fantastic. Sure. Well, it seems to help. Well, Rob has no idea that this ever even happened, so I guess I'll just have a conversation with you. What do you think of the orange dust phenomenon?
I thought that it should have never happened. Honestly, like I didn't get the point of it. I didn't understand like what they were going to get out of it. I mean, the shirt said what? Just stop oil. What does that have to do with snooker? I mean, I don't understand. Honestly,
that wasn't his mission.
Well, of course,
it was just the stage.
Of course, yeah, that's it, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you'll have if there's one thing that media, or I shouldn't say media, like big sports gets really, really well, is they know how to handle these types of situations, right?
Right.
When you have a streaker that goes on a football field or a soccer field,
well, that's what I was going to compare it to, a streaker.
The first thing that happens. The very first thing that happens is they pull the cameras from everywhere. You're no longer looking at the field. You're no longer looking, unless it's a cat or a squirrel on the field. They instantly pull it, right? Because at the end of the day, they're not trying to give their platform to whatever's going on, whether it's streaking, whether it's some sort of political statement, whether it's whatever it is. If it could potentially be bad publicity, they pull it immediately. Clearly, snooker is not like that. They haven't had the training to pull you off right away. Because at the end of the day, if this was, let's say, a football match, whether it's American or English football, that would have been done. I mean, once they saw they jumped down there, they would have pulled the cameras immediately. They would have went to something else, and they wouldn't have shown that.
Yeah,
the person wouldn't have got his day in the shade. So I'm sure that there was some sort of debate with this person, these two people, where they're like, "What's the biggest event we can get?" A protest, our eyes on our protest, while still making some impact, while, not just doing it to the void, right? And snooker in the UK, it's got enough following that and slow enough security, as well as, the camera people that aren't trained to go away right away. They thought that this was a big enough one to justify it. And at the end of the day, clearly it worked, because one of the people got up there, they got their little message across, whatever they wanted it to be. And I don't see it's a bad thing sure, they had to refelt the table, but I'm telling you what, like, they got eyeballs on this. This event would have been seen by, let's say, 100 people. Let's make up numbers. This would have been organically seen by 100 people. Well, now it's probably going to be seen by 100,000 people. They probably 100 times their viewership, and they're not watching the entire event, but they know the event's going on. And maybe once they know the event's going on, maybe they're going to be watching the finals, or maybe they're going to watch the next match, or whatever it is. That's all publicity is good publicity when it's something like this. It's kind of a win-win across the board.
It was kind of good for snooker. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what happens a lot of times with these crazies that do stuff like this is that the reaction they get from the majority of people out there is not the one they want, not for the reasons they're trying to do this antic that they're doing. It's just the opposite. People look at them and then just disregard the reason they're doing it for totally, because of the way they did it or where they did it.
Well, the fact that we're talking about it right now kind of doesn't that kind of discredit what you're saying, Rob? The fact that we're talking about it at all?
I just, by and large, that's what I think. This isn't really that big a deal to the majority of people that this crazy did this.
Oh, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying.
I look at it as kind of a pretty big,
in the end,
pretty big boost. It'd be interesting to be in those, in the rooms with Matchroom afterwards, just to see what their viewership looked like before and after.
Now, if he would have disappeared from the table in that dust, that cloud,
that would have been pretty cool.
Then I would have said something different to this, had a different response.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
He was a magician and he just disappeared on that pool table. Wow.
But left his shirt because he's got to leave the message. So
there you go. Yeah,
the shirt's got to stay, right?
You want the message out there.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it, I guess.
Yeah, people pick the craziest times and places to voice their opinion and messages. That's all.
Wherever they think it's going to get across, right?
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows what they're thinking? They're nuts. So it's hard to imagine what a crazy person is thinking, really.
That's why I try not to look too deep into what you say, Rob. Well,
I've taken the tests for my mind, and it just scared a couple of people giving me the test, so they stopped.
Yeah, that seems probably right. That I'm not gonna lie. With what Ed said there, I honestly thought that there was going to be like some sort of really freaking crazy person protesting that they want the orange 5-ball back. When I first saw it, I'm like, oh my God, people are this psycho about the orange 5.
Yeah. I don't dwell on it, but I certainly have thought about it on occasion.
Running down onto a table and throwing up a cloud of orange dust.
Not that. No, the 5-ball being orange.
Well, Rob, there's going to be an opening
at
the U.S. Open.
The pink ball, never. The 6 pink ball, even in snooker, I never liked it.
How funny would it be now if, Rob, you just went to the U.S. Open and wore a big shirt that said "Just Stop Purple 5," and you throw up a cloud of orange dust?
No, that wouldn't.
I'll pay to bail you out.
I think Joey would buy one of those shirts.
I might. I don't. Shirts have got to say something good about pool, or good about old guys. Otherwise I don't wear a shirt like that.
Well, who knows? I don't know. I guess, is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
What does Nate's shirt say today?
Oh yeah, here we go. I'll give Darren a little love. This is Dynamite Billiards. I got this at the Super Billiards Expo. It's Darren Appleton's line of clothing.
Sam, what's your shirt say?
Oh, I'm wearing the onboard U.S. Open shirt.
The
U.S. Open jacket.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
These are like the most comfortable hoodies I think I've ever worn. Shout out to Darren for getting some really awesome hoodies. And I think you can get them for yourself at dynamitebilliards.com. Does that sound right?
Okay.
I'm going to try to find out.
Shout out to some other vendor. We like that.
Well, it's Darren Appleton, and I love Darren Appleton.
Oh, yeah. There you go. It's Darren Appleton. Of course.
Yeah. So we'll always yeah, it is dynamitebilliards.com. You can go get yourself one of these hoodies. We love Darren. So all right. Well, I don't know. I don't have anything else to talk about unless you guys have anything you want to talk about.
When I was gone, did you guys continue talking about the Bob Stocks Memorial Tournament?
No. We went to this yellow powder stuff, or whatever, orange powder stuff.
Okay.
It was.
Well, I don't know if you guys heard about it, but when they were like 10-10 in the finals, there was a 3-year-old that pulled the fire alarm.
Oh.
And it caused like a 10-15 minute delay in their match. And it was just a crazy situation, very dramatic. I didn't know if you guys continue talking about that or not. I wanted to bring that up.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening out of that?
BJ, he still had the momentum and he just carried on with it and took the 13-11 victory. Also, when they were 10-10, they had racked the balls, so they were ready to go. BJ was ready to break, and the 3-year-old pulled the fire alarm, and they just stopped. And some random guy walks up to the table and just starts playing pool on the table. He breaks up the balls, and just some random guy from the pool hall. And they asked him they just asked him to leave, and it was a funny situation in that part. But
funny.
I was laughing at that guy. That guy was funny. But yeah, BJ still had the momentum, and he just carried through.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I guess we can talk about the world rankings. Although I guess I don't really know how. It's each year's new year for the Mosconi Cup, right? So I guess looking at this,
how many over 800 are there?
I think the last time I saw there was like 36 or 37 players.
And who's the highest? Horst?
Josh Filler, last I saw. Josh Filler's like a 841 or 842, I think.
I think the second highest is Francisco.
Shane.
Oh, Shane? I thought it was Francisco.
Fedor, actually. Oh, and then FSR. Yep.
Yeah, I knew Shane kind of a little in the.
Well, he didn't drop. Everybody else just went up around him.
I'm saying like he went from 1 to 4.
Yeah. Well, yeah. As far as that goes, yeah. But his Fargo's basically stayed right where it was. I mean, he's actually gone up a few points, but everyone else around him is flying up around. So, yeah, I think it's. I don't know. I mean, we could talk a little bit about the rankings, but as of right now, there really isn't all that much to talk about besides.
What's your next event, Sam?
I'm playing in the Queued Up Tour, the final stop up in Appleton, Wisconsin. This coming up weekend.
Oh, really?
Maybe get my revenge on Nate there. I'm hoping.
And how'd it go for you last year?
A Queued Up. No,
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, you played in this tournament last year. What happened?
That's on 7. Well, I'm coming over and playing.
You cannot, because you never played in one of the tour stops. You have to play in at least one to qualify for the finals, I think.
Wow. Nice rule.
Well, you could have supported Pool. You could have supported the Queue It Up Network Tour. But no, that's too much. You don't want to support what we're doing. Well, what Mike Taylor is doing in Wisconsin.
He might be able to play. Because
I don't know. Send him
because
last year,
last year, Timmy didn't play in one of the stops, and he was able to play in the final one.
Oh, sure. Well, then go sign up, Rob.
Tim who?
Well, he's one of my road dogs, Timmy Bly.
Oh.
He rides with me to a lot of tournaments.
Well, there's the precedent right there.
Well, then, all right, Rob, go sign up. So, Sam, what did happen last year?
I took second place to the best 670 player in the world, Neight Mindham.
Oh, no. He won his own final?
I got lucky.
He even got his own jersey for winning it.
To win your own final.
I got lucky.
Well, that's not going to happen this year.
I got to play Sam in the finals. It was so much fun.
I'm
scared of him. I'll never play him ever again.
If you would have watched the tournament in the finals, if anybody would have watched the tournament, they would have thought it was a 500 and under tournament. They would have thought, "Wow, these guys just started playing. This is APA 4 and under tournament right here."
Yeah.
I mean, it was really bad. If you want to get better at pool, I would suggest not watching that match.
I thought it was pretty good. I think I broke and ran one rack. It wasn't good, Rob. But our first final was, for the finals of the A side, I thought was pretty good, Sam.
It was a pretty good match, yeah. It was a really good match.
Yeah. All right, well, that's all I got. I don't want to talk anymore. So we're going to close this out today. We're going to talk next week about all the stuff going on now, which is, I guess, a bunch of stuff going on. Shane and Dennis are playing a match right now on the Shark stream. You guys can head over and watch that. Last I checked, I think Dennis was up 11 games, so I'm not sure if that's seems to be over or very close to over soon. And then there's the big Filipino event going on. There's going to be the Spanish Open that's going on soon. And yeah, we'll have lots to talk about next week. So let's close it out for now. Thanks for joining, guys. And we'll see you next week, huh?
Adios, folks.
Yeah. See ya.